House Resolution number 171, introduced by Representative Morse, a resolution to declare October 2021 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the state of Michigan.
Speaker recognizes Representative Morris.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today I rise in support of House Resolution 171 to recognize October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I stand with my colleague from the 37th District who is also a young breast cancer survivor. We are both speaking today as women who are diagnosed under the age of 40. Thus, we are considered young breast cancer survivors. Our stories are important because they both highlight why continuing to recognize October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month is vital to supporting healthy women. The reason that we see pink ribbons everywhere, that the NFL players wear pink socks, that many industries acknowledge Breast Cancer Awareness Month is that despite advancements in cancer diagnosis and treatments, it is still an incurable, deadly disease. In fact, this year in Michigan, around 8,700 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. 1 in 196 young women are diagnosed with breast cancer each year. The most sobering statistic is that young women have a 39% increased risk of dying of breast cancer than older women, even if it is caught in the early stages. The racial disparities that exist for Black women are even more disappointing. Young Black women are twice as likely to die as white women. My story started with pain under my left arm. I'd recently stopped breastfeeding my 1-year-old, and I had 2 older kids at the time, so I thought the tenderness was related to that. After a couple weeks, I tried to find a general practitioner, as I'd recently moved to Kalamazoo and didn't have one. After a couple weeks, when the pain and swelling continued, I went to the ER. And the doctor there took an ultrasound of my armpit and said, well, that could be something scary or it could be nothing, and he referred me to a general surgeon. About 9 days later, the general surgeon found the lump in my left breast, and I was sent directly to Women's Health at Bronson and had my first mammogram ever, an ultrasound and a biopsy that day. I asked my radiologist that day if she thought that I had cancer, and she looked me in the eye and said, yes, I do, and if it comes back negative, we're going to do more testing. My personal failing is that I was not performing self-breast exams because I probably would have found that hard little tumor. The next day, my results came back that the lump under my arm was cancerous, and I knew that it was indeed breast cancer. I was diagnosed with an aggressive form of breast cancer called HER2 positive, for which there's thankfully a targeted therapy called Herceptin. The very scary initial news for me was that the cancer in my lymph nodes was too large and inoperable, so I had 6 months of chemotherapy first, followed by a double mastectomy, a full round of radiation, and a year of Herceptin. I'm so very grateful to be standing before you today, 10 years later, a survivor, glad that I'm still here for my husband and my children. My message for Breast Cancer Awareness Month is that young women must be aware that breast cancer is not just found in older women. Young women are not covered for mammograms under the age of 40. The only protection that we have outside of our yearly visit with our doctors is ourselves. By performing monthly breast exams, we can know our bodies so that we can catch something early. We must always be our best advocates because many assume that young women do not get breast cancer, and many women have to fight to be believed and have their concerns looked at by physicians. Breast Cancer Awareness Month continues to be important because we need to ensure women and men, because it does strike men as well, are protecting themselves. Thank you.
Speaker recognizes Representative Steckloff.
Thank you. June 9th, 2015. That was the day I was diagnosed. What Representative Morse talked about, self-care and self-breast exams, is so important. The only reason I found out I had breast cancer was because it was Memorial Day weekend, I was laying out in the sun and got extremely sunburned. And as I was putting lotion on my bikini line, I felt this lump. And I work out a lot, so I figured it was just from that. I just so happened to have a gynecologist appointment the following week. We did our thing and everything, and right before the doctor was walking out the door, I said, oh, wait, I think I found a lump. I don't know what it is. So she felt around, noticed it, and said, Samantha, it's nothing, but, I have to send you. I was not going to go to Beaumont. I said, this is a waste of my time. I have to take another day off of work. Well, thank God I went. At 31 years old, you have a 2.3% chance of getting breast cancer. And I want all the men in the room to hear this. 2.3% for a woman under 35. Men, 1.6%. Just a fraction of a percentage more, and it can happen. I went through my mammogram because I was 31 years old. It didn't even show. Didn't even show in the mammogram. So we tagged it, biopsied it, and then I got the call, Samantha, I don't have good news for you. One of the most devastating things about this disease at the age of 31, I was single, I lived on my own, I had a job. This put such a wrench. My life has forever changed, but the most devastating part of this journey is that I now have zero control of my family planning. At 37 years old, I still don't know what my future is. And I can't imagine a life without being a mother. Excuse me, this is very difficult to talk about because as a young breast cancer survivor, it's almost impossible for me to adopt because of adoption laws. I've been rejected so many times because of my cancer. One of the only options we have is surrogacy. As expensive as it is, this is our only option. I had to be strong because my parents were worried and crying every day. And I knew that it was up to me to show them I was going to survive. I was in chemo for well over a year. I am still taking a form of chemo. And every morning, I look down at my pills, pretty much feeling like I'm in the batter's box, talking myself and psyching myself up to take just these little pills every morning. Because I know at some point during the day, I am going to get extremely sick from them. It could be pain, it could be nausea, but I know that every day I have to deal with this. So I beg you, you are the best advocate for yourself. I know, men, I'm looking at you, but you have to do self-breast exams as well. So please remember that. It can happen to anyone. And with the new technology, just in 5 years, we now have 3D mammograms that are going to save thousands of lives. Thank you.
The question before the House is the adoption of House Resolution 171. All those in favor of the resolution will say aye. Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted.